Climbed up to the highest mountain. I searched all around, couldn't find nobody. Mm. I went down to the deepest valley. Looked all around down there, couldn't find nobody. I went across the deep blue sea. Couldn't find one to compare to your grace, your love, your mercy. Nobody greater, nobody greater than you. I searched all over, couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low, I still couldn't find nobody. Mm, nobody greater, nobody greater, God. Nobody greater than you. Yes, nobody greater, nobody greater, God. Nobody greater than you. Listen, nobody can heal me like you can. Oh, most holy one, you are the great I am. You're perfect in all your ways, and mighty is your hand. You are he who carried out redemption's plan, and I searched all over, couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low, I still couldn't find nobody. Nobody greater, nobody greater, God. Nobody greater than you. Yeah, Lord. Nobody greater, nobody greater, God. Nobody greater than you, Jesus. Lord, nobody greater, nobody greater, God. Nobody greater than you. No, God, no, God. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Well Station. And Brother Rick, your gracious host today. And today we're going to continue our conversation. We're on part 3 of coming out of poverty. I said, who's ready to come out? 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 We're coming out of poverty, and we're coming out together. Good morning to you, Felix. God bless you this morning. Brother Harold, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Coach, Inner Coach. God bless you. Good morning to you, Beverly. How are you, dear? Good morning to you, Daniel. And good morning to you, Verlin. Good morning to you, Mildred. And good morning to all of you. You're incredible, phenomenal, fantastic, um, unparalleled kings and queens. I speak life into your life today, the amazing life of God into your life today, the amazing joy of God into your life today, the amazing peace of God into your life today, the competence of God in your life today. God is your Father. God is your maker. You do not have to fear what man can do unto you. You are a bad mama jamma, and you are an amazing brother and sister, and you have amazing greatness inside of you, and you shall win and not lose. You shall prevail. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. I don't care what happens. I don't care what you're going through right now. Whatever you're going through right now is temporary. If you're triumphant right now, then it's a temporary victory because there are bigger victories for you to experience. If you're going through changes right now, then you shall come out of whatever you're going through right now into a better situation. And if you're actually living in poverty right now and you want to come out, you're at the right station today, because today we're going to be talking about coming out of poverty, part 3. All right. New Diligence, good morning to you. God bless you. Love you back. Appreciate you, my brother. Eddie, good morning to you. Levon, good morning to you. I got your message about the young lady, about your family member, I believe it is, that you said you wanted us to bless and contribute to. And the answer to that is absolutely yes. I've just been in meetings all morning, so I just haven't gotten to it. But as soon as we get done here, I'll be sure to be obedient and and keep my word. Like I said, I told you all, when you have situations and people and things that are going on, just send me a direct message about who it is, what the organization is, whatever it is that you're doing, and we'll send them some money. And I don't need a long explanation. If you decide you want to explain it to me, that's okay. But I trust you. If you tell me that it's something worthwhile, we all meet here daily, during this time, and we all bless each other. And it's all about teamwork, and so we got to trust each other. So if you tell me something's going on, I'm just going to go ahead on and do it based on the fact that you said it. And what I want us to learn how to do is Stop having these long, drawn out meetings with each other and having meetings to have meetings. Get around somebody you can trust, okay? And pour your time and your attention into a handful of people. Stop pouring your time and attention into everybody that come around you, because everybody that comes around you doesn't merit your time or your attention. Find a handful of people and then give them your intensity. Don't try to live your life all wide like that, because it doesn't work. Okay. You don't need 100 friends. You just need to show one friend 100 times more love. Are you listening to me? You don't need to read 100 books. You just need to read one book 100 times. You don't need to invest in 100 things. You just need to make sure the one investment you got is working. You don't need to sell 100 products. Just learn how to sell a product 100 times better than you're currently selling it. Increase your intensity in life. Okay. Don't increase your width, increase your deepness. And then what happens? Your deepness, it increases the width. Are you listening to me? The roots of a tree, they grow extremely deep. And that's why the branches of a tree grow extremely wide. You see the wideness of the branches, but you don't see the deepness of the roots in the ground. It's the roots in the ground that creates the width. All right. The width is created what? By the depth. The depth is not created by the width. The width is created by the depth. Are you listening to me? If you want to have a life, then go deep. And if you go deep, then everything that spreads out, it'll spread out what? It'll spread out what? Sustainably. It'll spread out what? With substance, because there is no substance without deepness. So go deep into the earth, deep into whatever it is that you're doing. Be very good. Be extremely good. Be so good that people cannot ignore you. That's the way to live your life. Live your life like that, you'll come out of poverty. Okay, so let's get back to the scriptures. Good morning, Keymaker. How are you? Good morning, Natalie. How are you too? How are you as well? So let's get back to these scriptures. Bodaciously, you. God bless you. And good morning to you. It's King Zah. Is that correct? Good morning to you as well. So here's where we're at. We're in the book of Judges, and we're in the 6th chapter, and we've been talking about the children of Israel who are about to come out of poverty. All right. It's bad. It's not good. They're surrounded by the Midianites, and basically they're slaves. Okay. And they're about to come up out of the slavery, just like they had to come up out of the Egyptian slavery. But there's a pattern to coming out of poverty. So if I was taking notes, I would write this down. Here's the pattern to come up out of poverty. All right. And it's biblical, and it's 100% guaranteed. If you do these things, you will come out of poverty. All right. Let me tell you something about the Bible. It does not need your permission to actually do what it says. This is written in blood. This stuff ain't this. This is not written with an ink pen. All right. What I'm telling you today is written in blood. If you do these things, you have great success. If you ignore them, then you're going to stay in poverty. You say, Ricky, you sure speak with a lot of authority. Yeah, because I'm not speaking on my authority. I'm speaking on the authority of the Bible. And the Bible is very authoritative. It's a dominating book. Why? Because if you do it, you'll dominate. I don't want to live another day of my life. I don't know about you, just merely trying to survive. I want to spend all my days doing what? Thriving. Meaning what? I'm having the maximum success I'm capable of having. And that means that you have to do what? You have to actually take the Bible and do it. All right? Listen, everybody write this down. The Bible is extremely simple. Okay? But simple is hard. So write it down. All right? What do you mean by that, Ricky? I mean, it's hard to stop doing all that struggling stuff that you used to doing. That's why you're in poverty. You're in poverty because you're used to struggling. You're used to doing the things that don't work. So when somebody comes along and tell you some simple instructions that if you just do them, you'll take off. All right. If you just take these simple instructions, taking the instructions is hard for a broke person to do. Why? Because broke people are used to being broke. And when you start talking about money and how to really make it, it's strange ideas. It's foreign to a broke person. Why? Because if you already was practicing these ideas, you already have some money. All right. So obviously, whatever you practicing, it got you where you are. So whatever advice you're getting ready to get from somebody, it better be different. All right. It better rub you the wrong way. It better what? Make you uncomfortable. It better what? It better challenge you and stretch you. Some of y'all ain't stretched in 3 weeks. If I said get up right now and touch your toes, man, you'd be having a conniption just trying to touch your toes. Why? Because you ain't used to doing what? You ain't used to stretching. But when you get used to stretching, then touching your toes is no big deal. Why? Because you stretch on a regular basis. You have to stretch your mind to make some money. Why? Because the money you have right now is based on the bandwidth of your mind. Are you listening to me? The deepness of your mind right now, with the ideas that you have embraced up until this point in your life, they got a direct effect on the amount of zeros in your bank account, or if your bank account got zero in it. Are you listening to me? Anybody can come out of poverty. All right. If I can come up from $50 in a hotel room and from eating mayonnaise sandwiches, anybody can come up from poverty. Okay. The question becomes what? What is the pattern to come up out of poverty? Are you digging what I'm saying? Good morning, Diana. How you doing, dear? What is the pattern to come up out of poverty? So let's read it here in the book of Judges. Let's pick up where we left off at yesterday. And this is part 3 of the lesson. And I think this is I think this might be 7 lessons before we even get through. Okay. So this is part 3. All right. It says, and the Lord looked upon him and said, I'm sorry. Let me go up a little bit. So we're talking about Gideon. This is the book of Judges, and we're about to introduce you to Gideon, who's about to save the children of Israel from out of their troubles. All right. He says, and a prophet of the Lord, and the Lord sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, this is Judges chapter 6, verse number 8. He said, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt and brought you forth out of the house of bondage. So yesterday we talked about the fact that the first thing you got to do to come out of poverty is you got to realize that God brought you from where you were to where you are. And that's your situation right now, that it used to be worse than it is. So before you can come out of poverty, you got to appreciate the situation you're already in. Okay. You got to be grateful that your situation ain't no worse than it already is, because you're not coming out of poverty complaining. You're not coming out of poverty being ungrateful. You're not coming out of poverty being unthankful. So we established that yesterday, the fact that God does not bring ungrateful, unthankful people out of poverty. Why? Because you're too busy complaining about what you don't have instead of thanking God for what you do have, and then getting better ideas so you can come out of the situation that you're in. Now listen, when you say that you are content, it doesn't mean that you're satisfied. It just means that you are not complaining. Are you listening to me? And I'm gonna tell you one more time. And if I was a brother or a sister listening right now saying, Ricky, Brother Rick, I'm ready to come out of poverty, the first thing I would do is I would separate myself from complainers. The first complaint I would separate myself from is me. I don't want to hear that stuff. I will not hang out with complaining people. Why? Because I ain't no complainer. Now listen, you got to deal with situations. Sometimes stuff ain't right. It's got to be dealt with. But it's a big difference between confronting things and being a complainer. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. Complainers very seldom confront the person that they're complaining about. If you want to come out of poverty, you have to confront the person that if you don't like what somebody's doing, or if you don't like a situation, you need to confront it. All right. We were eating, at a restaurant yesterday. So they brought us some burnt salmon. All right. Salmon's burnt. And they brought us some cold mashed potatoes. So I said, can you go get your manager, please? So they brought the manager in. I said, listen, we run multi-million-dollar businesses. All right. And we don't treat people like this. I said, we came in here a couple of days ago and y'all had the food ready in record time and it was hot. I said, now we come back in here with that same expectation and you just sent us some cold mashed potatoes and you sent us some burnt salmon. I said, that just ain't gonna work, brother. I said, now you need to handle that. So he started making excuses. He said, well, when we got here, we were short staffed. I even went in the back to show yada, 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 yada. So he making excuses. So when he got through, he said, but I appreciate the criticism. I said, first of all, I'm not criticizing you. Everybody write this down. There is no such thing as criticism. That's a word you heard somebody make up. What it's called is instruction, meaning that I'm just instructing you on how to do something a better way than what you're currently doing it. But criticism, the idea of criticism, it breeds defensiveness. And when you already broke and you're trying to come out of poverty, you can't defend your poverty. Are you listening to me? When a person starts talking to you, the first thing you got to do to come out of poverty is that you got to start accepting instruction. So when somebody comes in and instructs you on what to do, don't look at it as criticism. Why? Because you're too defensive. All defensive people, sensitive people are going to die broke and poor. Why? Because you got to do different from what you're currently doing, which means that you got to get advice that you don't have. And then you got to actually do what? Implement the advice that you got, which means that what? You got to be humble to get rich. You got to be humble for real, not no fake humility. Not somebody talking about I'm humble. Yeah, but when you get some instructions, you get defensive and you want to put your dukes up. Put them up, put them up, put them up, put them up. You putting up your dukes what? Defending your little $6. It don't make, I'm telling you, it's the craziest thing in the world. I am a wealth coach. I coach people on a regular basis. And when I start talking to people and they start defending themselves, I'm like, this person is hell-bent on dying poor. Why? Because you got to listen to an instructor and you got to be glad that they're instructing you. Stop looking at it like criticism. It's not criticism, it's love. All right. It's love in its purest form. Why? It's because I see you getting ready to walk in front of a Max truck. And it's about to run your behind over. All right. And I see you about to walk into an oncoming train. And it's about to run you over. Or you land on the side of the road because some trains that already ran you over. And I'm trying to teach you how to get off the railroad tracks. Are you listening to me? Love, that's what love is. That's what instruction is. It's not criticism. You land on some railroad tracks and a train is coming 110 miles an hour. And somebody that loves you come by and say, hey, it's a train coming at 110 miles an hour. Get up off them railroad tracks. And you're like, man, if you said it a better way, then I might come up off these railroad tracks. If you said it to me a better way. I was in the crib when me and Shantae used to argue a lot. We used to argue a lot when we first met each other. One of the reasons we used to argue is because I moved into her house. And because I moved into her house, she kind of had her own rules. And even though I was telling her I'm the man of the house, we ain't having this, we ain't having that, we argued. Why? Because she already had a crib. And I tell all you men, don't you move into no woman's house that's got a house already. That's a bad idea, okay? Why? Because you come in there talking about you the man of the house, and she like, hell no, you ain't the man of nothing around here. I already own the house. I already pay the bills. So how you finna come in and tell me what to do? So I want to give all you brothers some sense, especially you young brothers. You getting married, you getting ready to get married and stuff, you moving in your woman crib. That's a bad idea. All right. Buy your own house, have your wife come to your house so she'll know you're the head of the house. You say, well, Ricky, I ain't got no money yet. Okay, leave her alone and go get you some money. All right. Be like David. Before David got married, he went out and got 200 foreskins of the Philistines and brought them in. You say, but Brother Rick, you didn't do all that. Yeah, I'm telling you from my mistakes. All right. I'm telling you how to be the man in your crib. All right. Every move I made ain't been a good move. I done made mistakes. All right. It was a mistake moving into a woman's house. That ain't no good idea. All right. I didn't know no better. I didn't have nobody really teach me no better. And I was doing what made the most sense to me. All right. But it ain't biblical though. It ain't what make the most sense to God. You're somebody that don't make no difference who house it is. It does make a difference because you're a man and you talking about put your foot down and all that kind of stuff and let everybody know that you're the head of the house and it ain't even your house. Man, you better wake up and learn some doggone sense. You're gonna have trouble with that, all right? Just like chances are you are. So anyway, I don't dig what's going on in the crib because these young boys over to the house talking too late at night, and our daughter Bree, she's just a real friendly person, so she got friends over. So these Negroes at my house at 1 o'clock in the morning making noise, talking too damn loud, and I'm upstairs trying to go to sleep. And they downstairs making noise in my crib like it's their crib. I'm like, first of all, you're over here too late. You dig? But it ain't, this is the stuff you got to go through when you move into somebody else's house. Let's just keep it real up in this piece. All right. So I'm over here trying to be the head of a house that I ain't even paid for. And it's trouble. All right. So I go downstairs and I tell these kids, I say, shut that noise. I done told y'all 2 or 3 times y'all talking too loud. All right. So one of these little punks looked over at me and said, and I said, matter of fact, y'all got to go. One of these little punks looked over at me and said, ask me nice. I'm like, what? He said, ask me nice. This Negro is in my house telling me to ask him nice to get out of my house. Are you kidding? Are you hearing what I'm telling you? This is the retarded nonsense we putting up with today. These little punks and brats talking to a grown man like that. Now, I'd hurt my hand playing ball. And the only reason I didn't hit him in the jaw is because I'd hurt my hand playing ball because I was going to steal on him because he in my crib trying to tell me what I was about to hit him in the jaw. Only God knew that I was going to hit him in the jaw and violate that parole because I was about to steal on his mother. I can't believe he in my house telling me how to act in my house. He said, man, ask me nice to leave. I'm telling some of y'all, it's time for y'all to come out of poverty. And then somebody comes along. So I didn't ask him nice to leave. In fact, I told him what I thought about him and all his kinfolk. And they had to call the police because I'm telling you the reason I hit him because my hand was broke. That's the only reason I hit him in the jaw. Because the stuff y'all put up with in y'all crib, y'all act like y'all retarded. You let somebody come in your crib and tell you what to do. Are you nuts? Where you pay the bills at? You let them come in and dictate what to do to you. Some of y'all own kids, the way they talk to y'all raising y'all kids the way white folks raise their kids. Are you crazy? Are you nuts? Hey, mommy, you can freaking eat me is what you can do. All right. And y'all better snap out of it. All right. And y'all better, you need to be helping your white friends to raise their kids. Don't raise your kids like they do. They tell their kids, Johnny, take a time out now while you're in the crib over there making bombs and stuff, blowing up stuff and all that sort of thing. Hell no, Johnny, you ain't finna take no time out. You're going to get knocked out if you come up in this crib talking crazy, disrespecting everybody and acting like you run stuff because you don't run nothing but your mouth around here. Now, you listen to me? I'm telling y'all how to come out of poverty. You can't come up out of no poverty with people around you who's so sensitive. Until when somebody come and give them some advice, they start protecting themselves and defending themselves against their poverty. Are you digging what I'm telling you? So the man of God, he is telling the people, telling these children of Israel what's going on. He like, when y'all came up out of Egypt, he said, God blessed y'all. And here you all out here acting brand new, ungrateful, unthankful, mumbling, grumbling, complaining, acting like little sissies, ain't grateful for what you already got. He said, and y'all are, that's why you in poverty. He said, so when you get ready to come out of poverty, you got to do what? Humble yourself. You got to do what? You got to be admit, that we jacked up. All right, the stuff we settling and putting up with and the nonsense that's going on around here in these households and stuff, God ain't with this stuff, and that's why we curse. That's why we ain't got no money. That's why we can't move ahead. Why? Because we violating all these principles up in this piece. And when you violate principle after principle after principle, what happened? God blow on your money, and you can't come up out of poverty. So you dig? Thank God didn't nobody get their head cracked that night. But everybody got the message, So when nobody else coming back over to the crib being disrespectful no more, being over here late and all that kind of stuff. Why? Because I wasn't having it. When Jesus came into the temple, and them fools was up in there gambling and selling stuff for too much money and all that sort of thing, Jesus came in and turned all the tables over, partner. Y'all got this Christianity stuff mixed up. Y'all got us messed up. All right. When you think you finna come around here gangstering us, you got us twisted like cornrows. All right. Ain't nothing happening. All right. Jesus came in there and overturned all them tables and told them, you den of thieves. He said, this is my house. And y'all up in here acting like this Vegas. He said, y'all better move around with that nonsense and start throwing stuff around. Y'all got Jesus twisted. Y'all picture of Jesus is so jacked up. Y'all got this religious picture of Jesus with a long perm and some blue eyes sitting someplace looking like a little sissy. That ain't Jesus. All right. That's some pictures people made up to subliminally mess your head up. First of all, Jesus was a brother, no doubt about that. He come from a warm environment and all of that. And his skin was probably closer to my skin, definitely, than it is in them fake white pictures that everybody got. That ain't Jesus. All right. Not that it matters what color Jesus was, but if you're gonna paint a picture of him, at least paint a real picture of him. Are you dig what I'm saying? All right. He was a brother. You better not get it twisted. Okay. He wasn't, he had no blue eyes, and he wasn't a little dainty looking little dude sitting over in the corner someplace looking like Tiny Tim, tiptoe through the tulips. That ain't Jesus. That's people depiction of him. They just made that stuff up. It ain't even consistent with the region that he was born in. All right. Adam and Eve was black. All right. Because they come from what? They come from Africa. Okay. Everybody else that came, every human being that came out from color. All right. So don't get it twisted around here. Everybody's sitting around trying to, especially when they start making white pictures, trying to make it look like white supremacy is what's up and all that sort of thing. That's some nonsense. Okay. That's just some racial stuff that people do to mess with your head and make you feel inferior, but it ain't reality. It ain't real life. All right. So study the Bible and study history, and you'll find out, what the real deal is. Now, does all that really matter? Because God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So don't you start tripping about the fact that Jesus was black, because that don't mean nothing either. Because Jesus ain't no color now. All right. Jesus is in heaven, and he's in heaven, and he's looking at us from heaven, handling this business down here on earth. It don't make no difference what color you are, whether you black, white, yellow, green, or whatever. Bottom line is, what kind of values do you have? And are you following the king? All right. So don't nobody start tripping. But I thought I'd put that caveat out for all of y'all, especially my white friends who be thinking they better than somebody else. I'm like, you tripping, Molly and Becky and Sue and Opie. You tripping, all right? You ain't no better than nobody else. Don't be coming around here with that stuff. Don't even imply it, all right? Don't be talking to me in no kind of condescending way or nothing like that, because you're gonna get checked, okay? All right, because we are not passive people. All right, we are very authoritative people, and we dominate. We dominate what? We dominate the demons and the spirits that try to come around us and make us act a fool. That's what we dominate. All right. And if you come around with them spirits, then we'll dominate your spirit too. Why? Because we tell the devil what to do. You don't tell us what to do. That's how we came up out of poverty. You come up out of poverty telling the devil what to do. You don't come up out of poverty listening to the devil and his suggestions and all that kind of stuff. You come up out of poverty. Why? Because somebody can talk to you. Somebody can teach you. Somebody can train you, and you humble and grateful and appreciative and appreciate the information and the transformation, and you do something about your life. You don't sit around arguing with the person that came to help set you free. Now, you dig what I'm saying? So when the man of God got up and told them what was going on, he set the pace so that now we can have Gideon come on the scene. All right. So now Gideon is about to come on the scene and find out the pattern that you have to have in order to be able to come up out of poverty. All right. So let's see what happens next. So the man of God talks. He telling y'all, now y'all came up out of Egypt. Now y'all acting brand new. He said, and I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of that oppressed you, and drave them out from before you and gave you their land. And I said unto you, I am the Lord your God. Fear not the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell, but ye have not obeyed my voice. So here's the first thing to do to come out of poverty. All right. You're going to have to switch your fear to come out of poverty. All right. Because the things y'all afraid of right now is why you're in poverty. You're afraid of the God of the Amorites. You're afraid of fake stuff. That ain't going to never happen. All right. Most of the stuff that's going on in your head right now, you made it up. All right. You have to make up poverty propositions in order to stay in poverty. In other words, you have to see things that ain't even real, and then you have to make them real in your life. Excuse me. So he said, you all are bowing down to the gods of the Amorites. Fake gods. They're not real gods, little gods. He said, that's who you bow down to. So what happens? You end up stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck and broke. Why? Because you believe in your brokenness. Now, you listen to me? You have to believe in brokenness to stay broke. You have to believe that it's your lot. You have to believe that it's your destiny. You have to believe that it's the base that you're supposed to land on. Are you listening to me? It's like you hit the ball and you run not the first base, you run the broke base. Are you listening? It's like that's what you're pursuing. It's like I'm pursuing brokenness. So when I get what because this is what's going on in my mind, broke behavior is going on in my head. So my activity ends up being consistent with what's going on in my head because that's what I'm pursuing. I'm pursuing brokenness, so that's why I got it. It takes a lot of hard work to stay broke. Are you listening to me? And broke people are broke because and poor because what? They are very fearful. Fearful of what? Fearful of a bunch of stuff that ain't gonna never happen. Why? So then it ends up happening, even though it wasn't gonna happen. All right. We got a dude in the Bible. His name is Nabal. All right. David come to his crib. And David's men come to his crib. And they said, hey, man, can we have something to eat? Because we used to protect your company when it was out in the wilderness. So my man talked crazy to David boys. He said, you little poo butts, get up out of here. He said, David is a fugitive. He got warrants, all right? Saul is chasing David. He said, I ain't got time for that. I'm going to take my hard-earned money and give it to a dude running around with warrants. He a felon, man. I ain't got time to be messing with that cat. Now, this little punk ain't got no army, can't fight or nothing. All right, he talking real slick, real jazzy, like he can really put cheese on a Whopper. No, he a little sissy. No, he can't fight. No, he ain't got no wind whatsoever, but he drunk, so he talking crazy. All right, so he sent him back. So they go back to David and tell David, man, my man talk real crazy to us. Embarrassing, all right? Like Popeye. Embarrassing. He embarrassed us, man, and sent us and told us to go back, said we ain't got nothing coming. And David said, oh, he ain't going to break us off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. He said he ain't going to break us off even a little bitty piece of that Kit Kat bar. He over there defending his family, defending his little fortune and stuff. And even though, he ain't, so David said, man, well, let's go kill that punk. He said, let's go kill him, take everything he got. You dig? We're gonna be partying like it's 1999 in just a few. Strap it up. He said, get y'all swords out. We're gonna go chop his head off and everybody else around there and take that little punk's money and everything he got. Meantime, my boy's wife gets to the crib. Her name is Abigail. Somebody told her, say, Abigail, your crazy husband just got through telling David's men to go to hell. They said, if I was you, I get on the first thing smoking and get down there and handle that business. So Abigail said, you ain't got to tell me twice. So she rolls up on David and said, hey, baby, I wasn't at the crib when my crazy husband was talking to you. I was not at the crib. Please do not come and cut off our posterity and chop our heads off because you be killing innocent people. Here's all the food you want. I came to break you off a piece of that Kit Kat bar, a Baby Ruth, and a Butterfinger. All right, you ain't got to worry about nothing up in here. Here go everything you possibly eat, and I'm so sorry, you dig, that my husband is a complete idiot. So I'm sorry about him, baby. But when you become king, remember your handmaiden. David was like, baby girl, you all good in the hood. It's all gravy navy. That's the flavor we savor up here, neighbor. And you, that presentation blew my socks off. So I tell you what, don't you worry about a thing, girl. Don't you worry about a thing. He said, you all good. All right, just going on back to the crib and enjoy the rest of your life. So she get back to the crib, my boy drunk. So she don't talk to him because he's drunk. Because you can't talk to drunk people. She wait till he wake up the next morning. So next morning she go over to him and say, hey, bro, check it out. She said, yesterday you talked real crazy to David's men. You know your little poop butt can't fight. You about to get us all murdered and slaughtered and butchered. She said, but thank God I got down there and diffused this situation and put that fire out. You dig? So we all gravy. Now we good. So my man started getting nervous because he served fake gods. His fake gods started tormenting him, just like y'all. The reason y'all broke is because you serve fake gods. And your fake gods start tormenting you when it's time for you to make a move, and they make you scared where you can't make a move. So they make you start believing stuff that ain't true. Because your fake God is fake. Are you listening to me? If you serve a fake God, he's going to show up what? With fake stuff. And he's going to introduce you to what? Fake ideas. And then you're going to do what? You're going to believe stuff that ain't happening. And then you're going to do what? You're going to start being delusional. So my man becomes delusional because he's serving fake gods, and his fake God start whispering in his ear. His fake God starts saying, hey, 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 David coming back. David coming back. David to the David to the David coming back. David coming back. David coming back. David to the David to the David coming back. His fake God started rapping all up in his ear. You dig what I'm saying? Just like these fake rappers y'all be listening to. All right, these so-called gangster rappers and all this sort of thing. These devil worshiping demons sitting up and rapping up. And that's one reason why you broke, because you're sitting up listening to that nonsense, and that nonsense start penetrating your mind. And these false prophets, they start telling you false things, and then you start believing false stuff. Why? Because you serve fake gods, and you're afraid of them. You're afraid of these little poo-butt, fake, non-existent gods. Are you listening to me? And ain't afraid of God of heaven and earth. And the problem, that's why you're in poverty, because poverty follows people who do what? Follow fake gods. Keep following your fake God, and poverty going to keep following you. Why? Because it starts saying delusional things to you and making you afraid of stuff that ain't going to never happen. So here's Nabal, and Nabal's sitting right here, and he's scared as hell about something that ain't even about to transpire. It's just this fake God up in his ear telling him some fake stuff, and he started believing it. He meant David coming back. David coming back. David to the David coming back. This stuff is rapping in his ears. You dig what I'm saying? So what ended up happening? He gets so nervous about the idea of David coming back. And we all know David ain't coming back. You know what? I got to make sure I got a church right here. Y'all ever read 1 Samuel, the 25th chapter? Do y'all know this story? Put it in the chat box. Say, he ain't coming back. Come on. Say, he ain't. Just put he ain't in the chat box. Come on. Because I ain't going no further till I make sure y'all awake. All right? Because I'm teaching y'all to come out of poverty. And y'all need to participate in this pattern of coming up out of poverty. So I ain't moving no further until I see somebody over in the chat box. Just put he ain't, because he ain't coming back. Just put he ain't. All right, that stuff that y'all think gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen. All right, he ain't. All right, come on, Kingmaker, he ain't. Come on, Bernadette, he ain't. Come on, well, set yourself free. The stuff y'all thinking is gonna happen to y'all that's causing y'all trouble, it ain't gonna happen. You made that stuff up. All right, y'all made it up. You made it up. Why? Because a fake God told you that. All right, Beverly, he ain't. Come on, somebody else around here. He ain't. Come on, Levance. Come on, he ain't. Somebody else. Come on, re-educated OG. He ain't. All right, somebody else talk to me. Y'all need to switch over here so y'all can talk. I hear Shantice, he ain't. I hear Hera, he ain't. Somebody else. Come on, help yourself out. Come on, Natalie, he ain't coming back. Come on, somebody talk to yourself. Due diligence, he ain't. Come on, that stuff that y'all thinking. Y'all all haunted and tormented by stuff that ain't gonna never even happen. Why? Because your fake God told you that. He ain't coming back. All right, come on, somebody else talk to me. He ain't. Come on, help set yourself free. Come out of this poverty. Set yourself free. He ain't coming back. Come on, the stuff you worried about, it ain't gonna happen. All right, it ain't gonna happen. Somebody else talk to me. Y'all ain't enough of y'all talking to me. I'm gonna hang up today because y'all ain't feeling me today. I'm on a lakefront. I need to be in the water. I need to be in the water someplace. Come on, Aaron. He ain't coming back. Come on, he ain't. Come on, he ain't coming back. Come on, that stuff you thinking about that's gonna happen to you, it's not gonna happen. You made that stuff up. All right, why? Because your fake God told you it was going to happen. Because he's trying to punk you. He ain't coming back. Come on. I need one more person to tell me he ain't coming back, and I promise you I'll finish teaching you this lesson. Y'all moving too slow for me today. Y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to wake up. He ain't coming back. Some of y'all need some coffee or something up in here. Come on, Lisa. Come on. He ain't coming back. Come on, Kendra. He ain't coming back. So he tells himself that David is coming back. David ain't coming, but that's what he told himself. So what happened? He gets so nervous, he go into a coma. All right? He gets so nervous, he has a heart attack and goes into a coma over something that wasn't gonna never even happen. Why? Because he's serving a fake God, and his fake God is in his ear rapping, David coming back to the David coming back to the David to the David to the David coming back to the David coming back to the David coming back to the David to the David to the David. Oh, fake God up in his ear telling him some lies that ain't gonna never even happen. Why? Because he don't believe in the God of heaven and earth. And that's what my man is teaching. The man of God is teaching them. He said, you came up out of Egypt. He said, now you're over here serving the gods and the Amorites, these fake gods, who up in your ear lying to you and telling you stuff that ain't gonna never even happen, and got you stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck and nervous Purvis over here and simple Sally. Now you dig what I'm saying? Because that stuff, you made that stuff up in your head. But it was generated by the fake gods you serving. Serve the God of heaven and earth, and then you'll get real news from a real God. All right? Fake gods. Are you listening to me? That's why I don't watch the news. That's why I don't watch the news. The news ain't nothing but fake gods. A fake God scaring the hell out of you. You want to come up out of poverty? You got to switch your fear. Turn off ABC. Turn off NBC. Turn off CCN, Fox, and Turn all that nonsense off. Why? Because all they do is report a bunch of heinous stuff every day. And the media, all it is a word that's plural for what? Medium. Medium means a seance. A medium what means witchcraft. So the media ain't nothing but witchcraft on purpose to scare the hell out of you. Why? To have you thinking about stuff that ain't gonna happen. Why? But you think it's gonna happen. So what? You can't even get out of bed. When I was a hustler on the bus, beating people out their money, playing 3-card Molly, my favorite line was, if somebody looked scared, I say, man, if you're scared, you should have stayed at home in the bed with the covers over your head. And that was to trick them out their little money so they can point to the wrong card and I can break them off. But I'm here to preach to you the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I'm telling you 100% the truth about your life because it comes straight out the Bible. I'm not guessing about this. I'm talking about what I know. And I'm talking about you can't lose with the stuff the Bible used. How you dig what I'm saying? You have to come out of poverty just like I did. All I do is practice Bible principles. That's why I'm rich. That's how I made my money. That's why I make more money in a day than I used to make in my whole life. And just in one day. And in a whole year, just in one day. Sometimes in an hour. Why? Because I came out of poverty. Why? Because I believe what's real. I don't believe what ain't real. And there ain't nothing you can do to convince me to believe some lies. Nothing. Why? Because I ain't new here. I grew here. I get out without a frown. How about you? Are you new here or did you grew here? You say, Ricky, that's not proper English. It's proper today. It's proper today. Did you grew here? Y'all better give God some glory up in this piece so he can regulate your crazy mind. Why? Because your fear is in the wrong place. And when you're afraid of fake stuff, then you can't do nothing. You're going to stay broke because you got to do hard work to stay broke. All right? What's one of y'all fears? One of y'all fears getting up in front of people and talking. That's a major fear for most of y'all. And like, man, I ain't finna talk in front of nobody. Anybody finna be embarrassing me? Be embarrassed by that paycheck. Be embarrassed by that couple of little wood nickels in your bank account. Be embarrassed about the fact that you don't even know your kid's name. Be embarrassed about the fact that you got to work all night and all day just to come home and go to sleep. Be embarrassed about stuff that's embarrassing. Don't be embarrassed about talking to people and being in front of folk. Who gives a rat's behind what somebody think about you? Are you listening to me? And you conjuring all this stuff up in your head. That's what it takes to be broke. But we coming out of poverty today. We coming out. We coming out. We coming out. We coming up out of poverty today. That's what this lesson is about. That's what this series is about. Because I want my brothers and sisters to be rich. I want y'all to have more money than what you can spend. I want you to have generational money. And more important than me, that's what God's expectation is of you. God expects you to believe who? Him. He don't expect you to believe the devil and the fake gods that's up in your ear and punking you and got you all scared and nervous and apprehensive about everything and believe in stuff that ain't gonna never happen. All right, let's move on to the next point. So the number one thing you got to do is switch your fear. This is the pattern of coming up out of poverty. All right. Number two, and there came an angel of the Lord and sat up under an oak tree. When the 6th chapter of Judges, and we're in verse number 11 now. He's saying there came an angel of the Lord and sat under an oak tree, which was in Oprah, that pertained unto Joash the Abiezrite, and his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. All right. So where are they? They are in Oprah. All right. Ophrah. This is where they are. They're in Oprah. So what is Oprah? All right. So Oprah means fawn. Fawn. What is a fawn? A fawn is the first year of a deer's life. So the word Oprah means what? The beginning of something. The first year of something. The beginning of something. So this is the beginning of your coming out of poverty. All right. Everybody that's taking notes, write these notes down. Come listen. Take this video and share it with the people that you're trying to come out of poverty with so that they can learn. They don't know. All right. Your friends who ain't listening, they don't know. All right. They don't understand that there's some training going on out of the Bible about how money is really made. They don't know because these preachers, they ain't teaching this stuff out the Bible. They teaching all this emotional stuff. I'm like, when you get through with all that, you got to have a game plan. All right. And the game plan has got to be for you, not for the church you go to. All right. Not to make this mog rich. All right. The game plan is to make yourself rich. Okay. That's what that the church is supposed to teach you how to get rich. The church is supposed to teach you how to come in and make sure that the building got some more money and some more money in the building fund. The church is supposed to teach you as an individual how to get rich, so then you can do whatever you want to do. You can help with the building fund, anything else you want to do. Why? Because you got some money. All right. The church is supposed to serve you. You ain't supposed to be serving a church. Now you listen to me. Church serve you first, and then you do what? Now you got the ability to serve back. Everybody I meet, I serve them first. I don't never try to get nobody to serve me. Everybody I meet, I serve them first. I'm like, what can I do to help your life? All right, that's what I'm on. All right. Now, if it ends up being something we do together, cool. If it don't, it doesn't matter because I did my duty. Why? Because I served you. Are you listening to me? I told y'all how to communicate with people. Don't try to sell nobody nothing. Signal what it is that you're about, serve the person, and then select who you want to do business with. Are you listening to me? I don't take nobody's check unless I want it. All right. You got to ask me to take your check, and I gotta want it. Are you listening to me? You say, boy, that's some pimp or die type stuff right there. There ain't nobody no pimps around here. We saved. We ain't in the streets no more. All right. How dare you insult us like that? We kings and queens, and I'm teaching you a kingly disposition and a queenly disposition so that you can stop begging and come up out of poverty. All right. You can't come up out of poverty. You have to serve your way out of poverty. Are you listening to me? And don't you run around nobody who want to be around you, who wants to be served more than they want to serve you. Now you dig what I'm saying? And don't you be running into people's quarters and you want to be served more than you want to serve people, because that's butt backwards. It doesn't work. It's not biblical, and you ain't going nowhere. You're going to die broke. All right. Why? Because you're cursing yourself, because you ain't coming up out of this poverty. You're not coming up with the attitude of serving first. So here's Gideon, and he understands that he's in the beginning of this transformation. Now, if you coming out of poverty right now, you are in Oprah. All right. What is Oprah? It means a fawn. What does a fawn mean? A fawn is what? It is the baby deer, meaning what? It's the beginning of a deer's life. So God is about to do what? He's about to bless you like he blesses a baby deer. This is the beginning of your coming out of your poverty. Are you listening to me? So you have to understand where you are if this is where you are. And it's okay. In the beginning, that means that there's a few things you have to do to come out of it, because you're not in the ending stages. You're in the beginning stages of coming out your poverty, if that's you. So if that's you, let me tell you what to do next. All right. So here's Gideon. He's in Oprah. He's definitely in the beginning stages, and I'm coming out their poverty. And he sees an angel sitting up under an oak tree. All right. And he said, and what is Gideon doing? He's by a wine press, and he's at a wine press that they have hidden from the Midianites. So here's the pattern. Okay. Here's the pattern. First of all, you have to stop being afraid of the stuff you've been afraid of, because that's got y'all paralyzed, but it's fake stuff. So get rid of that fake stuff. Then the second thing you got to do is you got to understand where you are in the process. So you're in the beginning stages of coming out of something. So in the beginning stages of coming out of something, you got to be like Gideon. He's down by a wine press that they hid from the Midianites. All right. So who are the Midianites? The word Midianites mean nomads, people who are doing what? Roaming around in the desert. In other words, what? Thirsty folk. So what is he teaching us? In order for you to come out of poverty, the first thing you got to do is switch your fear from people to being and fake gods to the God of heaven and earth. Switch that fear. And then the second thing you got to do is you got to have a game plan. But your game plan, you can't reveal it what? To thirsty people. Are you listening to me? Gideon is down by the wine press, and he's down by the wine press. What that he done hid from who? What? The Midianites. Why? Because they thirsty. So he done hid this wine press so they can take care of their business with this wine press. But the thirsty folk don't know nothing about it. So listen, you're about to come up out of poverty. All right, all of you are. Everybody listening to me who takes heed to this word, you about to come up out of poverty. All right, and it ain't no doubt about it. Now this is what you got to do. You got to make sure that you stop revealing your plans to thirsty people. Are you hearing me? You're in the beginning stages, meaning that it's just time for you to get to work. It ain't time for you to be telling people what you're doing. All right. He said, Brother Rick, every time I tell somebody what's going on, they try to put a monkey wrench in my program. So I got a question for you. Why are you telling people what's going on? Especially thirsty people, Midianites, nomads. What is a nomad? That's somebody that just wanders around directionless with no real direction. Why are you telling people who ain't got no direction what your plans are? What do you think they're going to say? You can't tell a person who don't have no strategy what your strategy is? Why? Because whatever you say, they're going to burn bread. Whatever you say, they're going to counter you. Whatever you say is going to, whatever you tell them, it's going to be a negative response. Why? Because they Midianites. Are you listening to me? And a Midianite is a who? A wanderer, a nomad, where in the desert. What does the desert mean? They thirsty. That's what it means. And if you start telling a thirsty person what's going on with you, man, please. All they do is look at you like a drink of water. Are you digging what I'm saying? Everybody thirsty looks at you like you're a drink of water. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? You can't reveal your plans to thirsty people, and you coming up out of poverty. What you do is by the time they find out you're rich, they don't even know what happened. Are you listening to me? Are you paying attention to what I'm telling you? There's a pattern of coming up out of poverty, and part of that pattern is you don't reveal your plans to thirsty people. Why? Because they thirsty. They nomads. They ain't got no direction. Are you listening to me? Man, it's a saying that says, if you don't know where you're going, what any old road to take you there. That's the way nomads are. Nomads don't know where they're going. They wanderers, all right? And they thirsty. So what? They want to drink up everything that come around. And why? Because when you're in a desert, everything look like a drink of water. Are you listening to me? They thirsty, they desperate, they out of control. And you sitting around telling a thirsty, desperate, out of control person what you intend to do. They ain't gonna do nothing but sabotage everything you're talking about. Why? Because they ain't interested in you. They interested in drinking you. Are you listening to me? In other words, they what? They energy vampires. They want to drink you up. So why in the world would you share your goals, your aspirations, and your strategies with thirsty folk who all they gonna do is drain you? All right? They look at you like you're a whale. Are you listening to me? You say, Brother Ricky, part of my problem, I'm trying to come out of poverty. And I got some good ideas. I'm like, all right, cool. They say, so every time I tell somebody in my crew about my idea, they start zapping me of my energy. They start saying stuff that don't even make sense. They be like contrary to what it is that I'm talking about because they can't see my vision. I'm like, of course. You having a meeting with some nomads and you expect that to turn out what? They not paying attention to you. They ain't listening to what you're talking about. They just looking at you, trying to figure out how they can get a drink out of you. Now you listening to me? They don't want to be part of no program you got and all that sort of thing. They just want to suck you up because they what? Thirsty nomads. They Midianites. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you digging what I'm saying? Read this book of Judges for yourself. Take this video, share it, and send it out to your friends and your family and let them know, hey, if you ain't heard from me lately, it's because you must be one of these nomads. If you ain't heard from me lately, it must be because you're a Midianite. If you ain't heard from me lately, it must be because you're an energy vampire and you want to drink me up and suck up all my energy. And I'm not going to sit here and let you drink me up and suck up all my energy. Why? Because I am laser beam focused on coming up out of this poverty and you are energy vampire. Are you listening to me? Them big old fangs coming up out your mouth. I want to suck your blood. You nomad. No. You know, you're a nomad. That's why I know you mad. All right. You know what nomads are? The only thing they know is how to be mad. All right. That's why they call them nomad. Pissed off about everything. Every time you try to tell them something that's going on, got something negative to say. Are you listening to me? You can't get away. You can't. You say, Bernadette, you say your face, you burn it. Purple, got a purple face laugh. You can't get away from, listen. A nomad is going to suck your energy because they don't have the power to do nothing else. They're not listening to you. They don't even have the capacity to hear what you're talking about. All they're doing is looking at you and they're saying, I've been knowing you since you was 4 years old. All them plans and everything you got to come out of poverty and all that sort of thing. You cannot reveal that stuff to your homies. All right? Because they nomads, they thirsty. They ain't got no game plan. They're just walking around in circles. You got me going in circles. Oh, round and round I go. I'm a nomad. Man, I'm a nomad. All I do is run around in circles, okay? And if you're going to tell me what you're doing, then I ain't about to do what you're talking about. But what I will do is I will invite you over here to this circle dance, all right? We got a dance called It's Time for the Circulator, but not running around in circles. Are you digging what I'm saying? We don't get down like that. We ain't dancing to that music. Why? Because you are directionalist. You don't have no direction. So why in the world would I tell a person that don't have no direction what I'm getting ready to do? All they're going to do is refute it. All they're going to do is try to sabotage it. And that's why y'all can't get off of first base coming out of poverty. Why? Because you don't understand. You are in the beginning stages. You are in Oprah. Read it for yourself and look the word Oprah up. It means a fawn. A fawn means the beginning of a deer's life. That's teaching you something. That's teaching you that before Gideon could come out of this poverty, he was sitting up under a tree talking to an angel of God. What? By a wine press that he was keeping what? Hidden from who? From the Midianites who are what? Nomads. I can teach on that for 6 months, but let's keep it moving. All right? Okay? All right? Let's go. All right? He says, and the angel of the Lord appeared unto him and said, all right? So now the angel of the Lord liked that, though. He liked his position. See, this is when God started talking to you. All right, let's just back up for a second again. So the angel of the Lord looked at him and said, so you like, man, I ain't hearing from God, Brother Ricky. Okay. All right. Let me ask you a question. Are you still kicking it with your tired friends? Because God ain't finna start revealing his plans to you and you leaking all the stuff out to your little tired friends. Are you listening to me? He ain't gonna talk to you. The angel started talking to Gideon because Gideon is up under a tree, up under an oak tree, which stands for a strong foundation. He's up under an oak tree, and he's hiding this press from the Midianites. So the angel is like, oh, so you got a game plan and you hiding from them thirsty people. I can talk to you. All right. Watch the pattern right here to come up out of poverty. God is not going to talk to you until you make certain moves. The first move you're going to do is you're going to have to get the fear of God back in you. All right. And stop being afraid of these little poo butt humans and them crazy devils talking to you in your ear that ain't the real God, fake gods. So you got to denounce them first. And then secondly, after you denounce them, now you got to position yourself in a place where you got something that everybody don't know about. Work on your stuff in private, okay? Don't tell the whole world what you're doing until what? It's time to present it. And whatever you do, don't tell them little busters that you've been hanging out with all your life who are dead broke and got a broke mindset and a poverty mindset. Whatever you do, don't waste your time talking to them. All right, so now you're in position. In position to do what? To hear from God. Because then God do what? He sent an angel to you. It's an angel talking to you right now. Because every prophet ain't nothing. We ain't nothing but angels. You said, what are you talking about? Ricky called yourself an angel? An angel is somebody who delivers a message. All right? And yes, I'm an angel. And if you got a message that's worthwhile, you're an angel too. And I invite every angel around me into my life. Because why? I know that we hear messages from God through what? Through angels. Who is angel? An angel is a messenger. Somebody who delivers some word. Are you listening to me? And you better be glad you got some angels around you. And you better not be angel hating. Okay? I ain't no angel hater. When I see an angel, I bless them. When I see an angel, I stop and they got my attention. I want to hear from them. We was walking down the street here yesterday, not far from here, and it was a man on the ground asking for some money. So he was real grimy. Everything around him was grimy. He had just dirt on the ground. He didn't even have no shoes on. He had a coat on. You know how people be tripping. They got a coat on in the middle of summer. You know they tripping, right? So I gave him $100 bill because that's what I teach them. Give people $100 bills. Don't give them little bitty bills. Give them some money, all right? So this brother, he's saying a whole bunch of stuff don't make no sense. But it's amazing how every time you get somebody $100 bill, Jesus started coming out their mouth. He talking about a bunch of stuff that make no sense, all right? And then he said, but thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Why? Because he an angel, all right? He said, an angel, Rick. He said, the man got a coat on. He ain't got on no shoes. He's sweating. He grimy. I said, yeah, he's an angel. Why? Because God sent me by there to bless that man. What? Because I recognize angels, okay? You in your flesh, you don't recognize no angels. You're looking at sight. So somebody look grimy and dirty and gritty to you. They look like the devil to you. They look like God to me. Why? Because God said, when was I hungry and you fed me, naked and you clothed me, sick or in prison and you came by to visit me. If you want to come up out your poverty, you better get rid of that stingy spirit. If you want to come up out your poverty, you better recognize angels. And when an angel is talking to you, you better pay close attention and have your ear pressed against the doggone phone and have your ear pressed against the doggone computer when an angel is talking to you. Because an angel is a messenger. And the messages that they do, they send you generational money, generational health, generational wealth, generational love, posterity at its highest. You live like a king. Are you listening to me? You live like a king and a queen. You are the best of 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 everything. Why? Because you're following biblical principles. And one of those principles is that when you walk by somebody, help them out. And don't take forever to do it. Do it fast. And do it where they be like mind be blown because you ain't cheap like everybody else. Are you digging what I'm saying? You better have some of that guilty money in your pocket when you walking by folk. I'm showing y'all how to come out of poverty. All right. And the stuff y'all doing, stop doing it. Start doing this stuff. This stuff work. Okay. That's how I came out of poverty. This ain't no hypothetical training. Are you listening to me? How dare you leave here to go learn about money from some broke people? All right. Learn about money from people that's got money. All right. And learn how they got it and be glad they telling you. Be glad they just freely telling you what it was that they knew. And then once you get some, do the same thing. That's the thing. When I'm like, listen, man, I just put you on. You getting a $3 million check. Go tell everybody how you got your check. All right. Don't you be stingy. You're just a human being. You're going to die. All right. That little money ain't going to mean nothing. All right. Go and teach people what it is that you learn and be glad to teach them. Be glad that somebody want to listen to what it is that you're doing. And then be extremely generous to everybody you see because you got too much money. That's how you come up out of poverty. All right. That's one thing that you do to come up out of poverty. So here, the man, not an angel, started talking to him because Gideon is in a position to hear what the angel got to say. Some of y'all, you can't even hear what the angel got to say because you ain't even in position. Why? Because you sharing all your goals and all your dreams with nomads in the desert, and the angel ain't going to talk to you. Why? Because you ain't ready for this jelly. Are you listening to me? You said, I'm not hearing from God, Ricky. I'm like, yeah, well, you ain't positioned to hear from God. You have to have a certain posture to hear from God. You have to have a certain disposition, a certain attitude. You have to be humble and obedient to hear from God. All right. And he ain't just talking to know anybody. Okay. He talks to who? People who paying attention, who are in a position to hear what he got to say. My man Gideon is up under a tree, listening to God, and now he's ready to hear what God got to say. So what the angel tell him, all right? Let's listen to what the angel told him. He said, you about to come about this poverty, bro. All right? He said, and an angel of the Lord appeared unto him and said unto him, the Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. So this is the beautiful thing about God. You want to come about this poverty, you're going to have some courage. Now, when you position yourself, because you are not talking to the nomads no more, you ain't revealing you ain't sitting around on the gossip mill, you're not on the phone. Now you're so busy working until you got an idea that you hiding from what? From the thirsty folk. Now God is able to talk to you. And the first thing the angel did, he said, listen, mighty man of valor. The first thing the angel did was he didn't come in giving him a whole bunch of instructions. The first thing he did was encourage him. Because what do we need? We need some encouragement to come up out of poverty. Why? When you've been used to everybody around you being broke, and everybody got their foot on your neck, and everybody, and you can't bust a grape in a tractor, man, you need some encouragement. You need somebody to come around you and tell you, listen, you are a mighty man of valor. You are a mighty woman of valor. Why? Because you need to hear that. So I stopped by here this afternoon to let you know, you are a mighty man of valor. You are a mighty woman of valor. That's why we address ourselves in our community as kings and queens. Good morning, queen. How are you? I'm doing wonderful, king. How are you? Why? Because when you leave from out of the community and start dealing with people, they call you everything except who you are. Why? Because they're looking at your current situation and they won't call you a king just because you ain't got 20 million right now, just because you ain't got 30 million right now, just because you got some bills that's hard to pay right now. So they call you out of your name. They don't even address you as who you really are. The angel or the Lord looked at Gideon here, and he just looked at the position that Gideon was in, and he told Gideon who he was. He said, listen, you mighty man of valor. He said, listen, you mighty man of valor. Y'all better learn how to talk to each other. Are you listening to me? Stop calling each other out of each other's names. Stop addressing each other so casually. Address each other the way you really are. You are a mighty man of valor. You are a mighty woman of valor. You are a mighty prince. You are a mighty king. You are a queenly queen. Are you listening? You got it going on to the break of dawn. Talk to each other the way that you really are. And you talking about, but I ain't got no money right now, Brother Ricky. Money ain't what make you a mighty man of valor. All right. Character is what makes you a mighty man of valor. Are you listening to me? And you got character already before you even get some money. Don't let nobody talk crazy to you because you ain't got no money right now. How dare they disrespect you and to talk to you in some type of condescending way just because you ain't got no money right now. That don't stop making you no king and no queen and no mighty man of valor. You're a mighty man of valor and a mighty queen of valor. And it makes sure that you address each other that way. All right. The angel of the Lord, he got all of what Gideon needs. All right. The angel of the Lord already done come from heaven. All right. He already has seen heaven in all its splendor. He know what it's like to be extremely rich, debt free, got it going on to the break of dawn. He know what it's like, you dig, to everything to be glorious and marvelous. And he know what it's like. Okay. And he looks at a man who ain't got a pot to pee in or window to throw it out of and calls him what? A mighty man of valor. Why? Because he could see the inside of this brother. I got a question for you. When you walk by people, do you look at their appearance and size them up like that? Are you listening to me? I told you yesterday when we walked by a man on the ground with no shoes on, not only did I stop by and give him a $100 bill, but on the way back, we started singing. All right. He was singing some kind of crazy song. I started harmonizing with him until I found out what he was really saying. Shantae was cracking up. I thought he was saying, won't he do it? But he was saying something about do-do. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, was he saying do-do or do it? She said, you harmonizing with the man and he's singing about do-do, Ricky. I said, I thought he was saying do it. Once I realized what he was saying, I cut the song off. The dude can sing, all right? The dude can sing. Now, what was wrong with him? He said, man, he looked at Shantae. He said, man, he said, is that your wife? She fine. He got 3 teeth and they missing, right? He ain't got no shoes on. He got a bald spot on the top of his hair. This part of his hair sticking up like this. He's sweating like a murder suspect because it's the middle of summertime and he got a coat on. And then I realized what was part of what was wrong with the brother. He said, man, I had a woman like that right before I went off to Vietnam. And I got to thinking about it. I said, and I think he said he went to Vietnam twice. And I think about all the people that's been to the war and now their mind ain't right. Went to a fake war that didn't have nothing to do with nothing. And then they come back and get treated like a dog. And this man, he's right in that age group of people that went to Vietnam, that got over there and messed around and got high for some of that stuff in Vietnam, because you had to get high most of the time and go killing people, because killing people is so vicious and stuff. It is so unnatural. And so quite often you need to be high off some opium or something just to shoot somebody. So you be sizing people up. This is what human beings got a tendency to do. We be sizing people up we meet like they crazy. I'm like, man, you don't know how that person got like that. You don't know what the hell happened to them. You don't know that. It ain't your job to be evaluating all that. What it's your job to do is understand that you just passed an angel up, and you better do something about it and go in your little cheap pocket and help that angel out, because you just walk past an angel. All right. But you don't even recognize it when you're spiritually blind. All right. I'm telling you how to come up out of poverty. Stop doing what you've been doing and start doing things different. If you want to come up out of poverty, instinctively give the folks when you walk by them and break them off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Don't be cheap. You said, Brother Rick, I can't afford to be giving nobody $100. You can't afford to not give somebody $100. Are you listening to me? I'm telling you to stop doing this stuff. Y'all go to church and let the preacher beg the hell out you and giving him your last and all that kind of stuff. Let the pimp you like that. And then you walk past an angel on the streets and you think that they ain't important. You think the pimp and preacher important because he got a nice suit on and a nice this and that, and that you think that your destiny attached to him and all that sort of thing. That ain't nothing but some nonsense and idolatry. All right, that ain't biblical. Okay, what you do is that you look at the person who can't pay you back and who in serious trouble and all that sort of thing. That's your angel. That's your way out of poverty. All right, you got to recognize angels. So when you walk by an angel, break him off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Man, I ain't gave no preachers no money. Why? Because I don't need their money there. I was doing good before I met them. All right. I'm like, I don't need to be attached to you to be doing good. You know, the reverend this and reverend that. The Bible don't even teach you to call a person reverend. The Bible teaches you to call a person elder. You know, you can say bishop if you want to. For me, Brother Ricky is good enough for me. I don't need no titles. Why? I don't need none of that stuff. Why? Because I got a title with God, and that's just born again. All right. That's just a child of God. That's a good enough title for me. Are you digging what I'm saying? And when I meet people, I just want to help folk. I ain't interested in all that superficial stuff. Are you digging what I'm saying? And this is why the angel talks to me. And this is why the angel was talking to Gideon, because of the position Gideon was in. Some of y'all can't hear from God. Your position ain't right. Your posture ain't right. You're not sitting up under an oak tree. You ain't got no foundation. And you still having conversations with nomads. And God ain't about to take his information and give it to you so you can run off and give it to this and be a snitch and give it to the nomads and the Midianites and the blood-sucking folk you hanging around. Are you digging what I'm saying? You got to change that first. So this first thing he told Gideon, he said, I like your position. So what did he do? He called him a mighty man of valor. We'll pick up tomorrow as we go into number 4 about how to come up out of this poverty. But I just want to leave this conversation letting you know that you are already a mighty man of valor. You are already a mighty woman of valor. I don't care how many dollars you got in your bank account. That don't sum you up. Okay? I don't care. I was a mighty man of valor when I didn't have no money. Are you listening to me? All right? I was already a mighty man of valor. And I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell you one more time because you need to have this attitude to come up out of poverty. When I did my first stage play, and this woman who wanted to be, executive producer of what we doing and all that, she said, hey, I got some ideas about this and that. She's a bossy chick, basically had the spirit of Jezebel, want to boss me around and tell me what to do. But I don't receive the spirit of Jezebel because I'm a man's man. You don't come around me bossing me around, telling me what to do. Hell to the no. All right. Because why? Because you ain't got enough money and you ain't that important. All right. So you don't just come in, you make yourself less important the more you talk when you talk slick. So because I respect you if you're respectful, but if you ain't, I'm going to check you to your face and tell you you're talking crazy. And I ain't trying to hear none of that. So she said, you want to be a thousandaire, you want to be a millionaire. Now, I ain't got no money. We just did a play with 600 people came. We got a couple of $1,000 left or something like that. Most of the people didn't want no money. They wouldn't even accept no money from me. They just enjoyed the play so much and all of that. But I ain't have no money. You didn't make no bunch of money off of that. But it was great because we was helping cancer survivors. So what we did was good, but it didn't produce no whole lot of money. So I didn't have no money. But I knew that I was going to be a millionaire no matter what I did because I know what? I know I got work ethic. What about you? You already know you're valuable. You already know that you have valor. You already know before you make the money. You already know who you are. All right. Don't let nobody come in and tell you who you are. All right. You if need be, you tell them who you are. Are you listening to me? So she said, listen, you want to be a thousandaire, Ricky, or you want to be a millionaire? So I'm like, get to the point. What are you talking about? She's like, because if you want to be a thousandaire, then you do things the way like you currently doing it. But if you want to be a millionaire, now granted, this chick ain't no millionaire or no thousandaire. Ain't it amazing how broke people want to give you advice like they rich and like their ideas really make sense? Broke as hell. And they want to tell you what to do while you broke. Are you listening to me? That's why God's telling you. You got to be up under an oak tree. What? Not revealing your plans to what? Some broke nomads. Why? Because they're going to bust all in trying to give you some advice. And God is like, don't you listen to that nonsense? These people don't know what they're talking about. You already know that. Yeah, y'all are already in the same situation. They nomads, they thirsty. Thirsty people always got thirsty advice. So here's a nomad talking to me with some thirsty advice, trying to tell me what to do. So she says, hey, if you want to be a millionaire, you need to do this and you need to do that. I said, let me tell you something, baby. I said, you got me twisted like cornrows. All right. This play that we do, it's about Jacob. I said, but don't get me twisted. I said, just like Jacob was blessed in the Bible, so am I. Just like Jacob had a blessing on his life, so do I. Just like Jacob had an anointing on his life, so do I. Because I believe in the same God that Jacob believed in. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob is my God. All right. And he ain't no respect of persons. And the same things he did for Jacob, he'll do the same thing for me if I practice what Jacob practiced. All right. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna operate out of faith and belief, and I'm gonna get in my work ethic. And I believe I'm already a multimillionaire in the making, and I'm gonna put the work in to make it happen. And I don't need your permission and nobody else's permission to do it. All right. Because the same blessing that was on him is the same blessing that's on me. I need y'all all to look everybody in the eye that comes up to you and they start talking crazy to you and trying to size you up. And I need you to let them know I'm already a mighty man of valor. I'm already a mighty woman of valor. I already got my eyes on the prize. I'm already working towards my goals. All right. I don't need your approval. I don't need your validation. Matter of fact, I don't even need your input. In fact, since you came over here talking crazy, this is the last conversation we're going to ever have. So you enjoy the rest of your life and dismiss them. Are you listening to me? Why? Because they nomads. And look up in 5 or 10 years. You know where they're going to be? Still roaming around in circles. Why? Because they nomads. Are you listening to me? And you're going to know they mad. Hey, let a nomad be mad. All right. All right. Just don't you be clowning and hanging out with them. Are you digging what I'm saying? Listen to me good. As you come up out of this poverty, you will shed folks just like shed clothes. You will shed folks just like shedding a rash. Are you listening to me? You'll be getting that rash off of you because these nomads ain't nothing but rashes. They don't think like you think. They don't serve the God you serve. They don't have the belief you have, so that you're not going to agree with them. It don't make, and you don't need to agree with them, and you don't need their validation. Are you listening to me? I know I'm helping somebody today because I know that's part of the reason why y'all still in poverty, because of the folks you hooked up with. And you thinking that you got to hang out with them in order for you to get ahead. No. If you keep hanging out with them, that means that you're not hanging out with God. Why? Because God is not with them. Are you listening to me? So you're going to have to shed something. Are you listening to what I'm telling you? In order for you to shed your poverty, you got to shed the poverty-stricken, poverty mindset folk that you hang out with, just like you got to shed the poverty-stricken stuff that's in your own head. You got to shed what's in your own head, and then you got to shed the people around you. You got to get them people up. Are you listening to me? If you're going to have some money, if you're going to be prosperous, if you're going to be prosperous, if you're going to make it. Are you listening to me? You can't make it with the same crew that you've been kicking it with. It just ain't going to happen. God is not going to talk to you because he ain't going to talk to you. And then you be a gossip meal for the crew that you had to go back to them. And then y'all keep exchanging a bunch of nonsense between each other that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. All right. Get you a new crew. Get you a new crew. All right. Get you a new crew of progressive thinking people. You, mighty man of valor. You, mighty woman of valor. You, mighty queen. You, mighty king. Come on. I speak mightiness into your life. Let me pray for you before we go. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you, Lord, for Gideon being a mighty man of valor. Lord, we thank you that he stopped kicking, that he's hid his stuff from the thirsty Midianites. And Lord, we pray that we'll do the same thing. We have great ideas. We have great strategies. We have a great spirit. We have an indomitable spirit inside of us. We have great creativity and ingenuities, and we are bubbling with energy and possibilities. And Lord, we refuse to sit up and divulge our plans to some nomads. We refuse to try to be what? In good cahoots with some nomads. We refuse, Lord, to do what? Give up all our good stuff to some thirsty folk and let them drain our energy. Lord, we refuse to do that. You know what we're going to do? We promise you from this day forward, we about to get laser beam focused on the game plan that you give us. And we just want to thank you for being kind enough to talk to us and to tell us what the next move is in getting out of this poverty. We receive your next move, Lord. And until we get back together again, we pray that we'll have a wonderful day, a blessed day, an awesome day. We pray that we'll be some people today that will be so kind and generous and thoughtful and kind and loving towards the next human being until they'll say, you know, who is that God you serve? How did you get the disposition that you have? I want some of that. Lord, help that to be our reality today. And we promise you, Lord, that everybody we come in contact with, when they ask us, Father, we'll let them know that it's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Father of Jesus Christ, our Lord and our Savior. It's you who we serve, and that's how we got where we are. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless all of you. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege. Join us again tomorrow at 10 o'clock sharp Eastern, that is tomorrow, and we'll be discussing part 4 of how to come out of poverty. I love you. Ain't nothing y'all can do about that. And remember that stellar is as stellar does. God bless you. Enjoy your beautiful day. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.